you're starting a career in the P&C, health and life, Medicare, T65, all of those insurance industries that are there, some are more glamorous than others, but in general, what does your first 90 days look like? They're actually going to be very, very similar. I'm going to lean more towards the P&C part just because that's kind of our world and where we grow and know the most. I'm going to assume most of this video that you've done some sort of licensing, but it's going to take you about 45-ish days to go through the material, learn, study, pass the exam. You may take it multiple times because it is a very difficult exam to take. And then once you've passed it, that's it. You've got your license, you're good to go. Let's start at that point and kind of move forward on what does that first 90 days actually in a company look like. So the first decision you have to make is if you're going to go captive or independent. Captive, if you're not aware of that, that's basically you're working directly for an insurance company. The benefit of going that route is you're going to have brand recognition right away. That's why a lot of people go captive. That's like State Farm. That's kind of Allstate. They've gone independent, but you can still go captive with them. AAA does both. You can go captive or independent, so you kind of have the best of both worlds. Farmers insurance is another example, is if you're going to go captive. You get the Farmers brand, you kind of get implemented into their system, they teach you the ropes, and you just go from there. More often than not, the people that are trying to build a career in this industry, you're going to go independent. The independent is where you're going to have multiple options. You're going to work with many insurance companies. You've got AAA, you've got Allstate, you've got Geico, you've got Progressive, you got Safeco, you got all of these brands that you can get appointed with and actually sell their policy. So if Geico's not competitive, maybe Progressive is. And if Progressive's not competitive, then maybe Allstate is. And you have all of these pieces where you can have multiple products. Now the flexibility there is way better. The only downfall is there's a lot more to learn, a lot heavier tasks, and that's more of a future issue, but that's going to play into the first 90 days. We're going to start to learn the differences between those, which we'll talk about here in a moment. Either way, you've got to pick which route you're going to go. Am I going captive? Am I going independent? Also, am I working for somebody or am I going off on my own? This channel is going to help you either way. If you are looking to work with somebody or go on your own, I'll put a wait list that we're going to test out here. We're actually looking for people that want to sell insurance underneath us, but we're also looking for people that want to 1099 and be on their own, but need to get appointments and work with carriers. So you can either work with the network we're part of. We don't get any fees. It's just a referral. We give you up and you can talk to them. That's great. Or you want to work under our brand where you're just like, I want to work under the Valor brand and work with you guys. Now the benefit to that is it's less difficult to get appointed. You're probably going to pay the same either way or earn the same either way. So there's really just choices that you have to make. If you're looking to come on as an employee, that's an option too. Fill out the wait list either way. And then we can talk about that. Just put it in the notes if I don't have that section filled out yet. Your first 7 days is really 7 to 14 days is going to be paperwork. If you're going independent, then you're going to have to fill out W-9 forms. You're going to have to fill out every carrier you have to apply for if you're going off on your own. Even if you're joining a company like ours, you still have to fill out some paperwork, and that's going to take about 2 to 3 days. So the process is quicker if you're going underneath a company or an agency. That's easier. If you're going on your own, you've got to either join the network or join a company. Then you've got to write your business plan. You've got to do all the models, and then you've got to apply for all of these carriers to get the access to write the policies. There's also usually software if you're going to use software, which if you're joining a network, you're pretty much stuck. You have to use their software because it's the only way they can track commissions and things like that. And so they're going to have you set up for that. You're going to go through training, their onboarding process. If you have direct codes versus shared codes, there's a lot of admin work, and that's on you because you have to fill out your information and all of the pieces that it takes to get licensed and appointed. So that's going to be essentially the first week, is just getting all of those pieces together. Your website, your email, all of the things that need to operate. One of the things that we help streamline, and that's one of the benefits that we're trying to give to agents, is help you understand those parts so you can just go quicker. You can get up and running in less than a week and you're good to go. Now, once you've gotten all of that, that's really, okay, overwhelm's gone. I got all my appointments. At least I'm waiting for a few. Some carriers appoint you the next day, and some carriers wait 6 months. So it really, not 6 months, it's probably 2 months. So you've got a little bit of a wait time between some carriers to get access to their systems, to even quote them, let alone sell the business with them. Once that's good, there is a lot of help that they're going to give you. The unfortunate part is most networks don't necessarily have individual training courses or classes. There's websites and they can refer you to them that help you learn them. The thing is that when you go independent, the struggle that you're going to run into is there's multiple rules with multiple companies, and if you're with us, multiple states. But the carriers have different guidelines for each state that you're in. So learning those products is kind of a long-term play, but you're going to start doing that. The second to third week is going in and understanding, okay, who's Safeco? What is their product like? Are they going to get me onboarded? Great. Are they going to help me learn the products and how do I quote with them? I'll be completely honest, most of the carriers just let you go. You get in there and you learn to quote as you go. They have helpful documents and guides, and if you have a direct appointment where you've gone directly to them and they've approved you, then you can work with your person that onboards you, and then someone can actually help hold your hand through that process. So initially just getting training and getting set up with each carrier that you're getting appointed with. Again, leaning towards the agency owner, the person that wants to go off on their own, you've also got to think of the next pieces, which is funding. You've got to figure out, what are my funds? How have I gotten my loans? Am I set up? Yeah, I've got my license and all that. That's the first step. But you got to get the banking set up. You've got to get your phone system set up, which there's 1,000 of them. And we have one in the description below if you want to use the one we use, which is Hubly. And there's all of these pieces that you have that you can get connected with. Ours does the website, does the phone, does the automation, actually has an AI that's being built right now where it can answer the phone calls for you or even call out for you. So there's all of these things. It's more technical parts. But if you're starting as an agency owner, you're going to be the one setting all that up, or you're going to get the funding and then pay someone else to set that all up for you. Now, the funding doesn't just end there. The other part of the funding is you need to set a budget. Am I paying for software? Am I paying for a phone? Am I paying extra for an email? How many users if you're going to have more than just yourself? You know, what are all of these pieces? You need to budget out what your expenses are going to be. That way you can tell also how much business you need to write to break even. Hopefully that's your goal, is to make money, not just break even. And then you can progress. The other part is sticking to that, which we'll talk to here in just a moment, and kind of setting up a track path so that you can once a month go back to that budget. Am I on track? Am I way off track? Do I need to adjust things? That's really the setup of the pieces, and that's really in the second to third week that you're still going to be doing those parts. The fourth piece that you're going to be also thinking about is marketing. If you have the funds, then you're going to be paying for marketing. If you don't have the funds, then you're going to be doing word of mouth. You're going to be going out to friends and family. You're going to be going to networking events. You're going to essentially just get your name out there. You're going to be on social media, constantly joining groups and talking to people and just trying to get the product to quote that you can get in front of people. If you haven't already, in that same week, you're also going to work on time management. And you'll see a chart here in a moment that puts time management at the back end. At the bottom, it is a base piece, but you're probably going to do it ahead of time. If you don't have good time management, you can still get through this. I get distracted every 2 seconds. I got 5 emails making this video and I start checking them during the video. It's not that you can't be bad at time management and be successful. You can. You can check 5 emails. It's just stressful. If you have a way, and I'll actually give you guys a free time management sheet that I created for myself that helps me keep on track. It's actually a little sheet that I can fill out every day that tells me, here's the tasks. I need to get appointed with AAA today. I need to do my W-9 today. Those are the must-dos. And I focus on those tasks first. Don't check my email until I've done that. I need to do X, Y, and Z. Again, if you're the type of person that starts with your email and then just goes crazy with all the questions and people need this and so needs that, multitasking is beneficial. You can get a lot of it just ramped out, but don't do it too much because you'll probably burn out. Once you've got the appointment set up, you've got the email working, you've got a way to quote customers, you're starting to get some information, you're ready to go. Most likely you're with Progressive already or a National General who usually appoints you right away. So you're able to at least quote something until the other carriers start to come in. The cool part is they're actually aggressively competitive, so you're gonna have some good prices. But the biggest piece you're gonna start to work on is yourself. You need to make sure that you have the right mindset. Go to any motivational video and the first thing they talk about is mindset, because you've got to put your blinders on, go down this path. And if you don't have the right mindset, if you haven't set your goals, if you haven't projected what you're doing, if you haven't set your budgets, you're not on track, and you don't have the right path to go. There's a lot of videos, some are better than others, and a lot of content that you can watch this channel, you can subscribe to, you can go to any of the motivational people, all of the pieces that get your mindset renewed every day, get you through that overwhelm, get you through the marketing piece, get you through the product knowledge. There's all of the pieces that are going to come through, and understanding those is what you're going to do for the next probably 60 days, is setting everything up, appointments, and more product knowledge and quoting and starting to get a feel for things, getting denied for things, calling the underwriter, asking questions. Pieces like that are going to be part of the position as you start to move forward. The next step, which is part of the pyramid that I have here, is to work on your sales techniques. The sales techniques comes later. For those of you, I almost drew a curve that went in different directions. It was the person that is very transactional. That person can succeed. You just have to have the marketing. That's why I put that second ahead of it. If you have enough business coming in, at the end of the day, the sales technique doesn't matter. If you can quote 20 people a day, you're going to sell 2 to 3 to 5. If you're better at sales, you're going to sell 10 of them, right? You're going to get better as you go, and you're going to improve. So that is something to work on. But starting off in your first 90 days, you're really just trying to get the experience and the knowledge, and you're hands-on of everything. You want to touch the quoting platforms. You want to be in Safeco. You want to be in Progressive. You want to push those buttons and read the guidelines as you go, because you're going to come up with situations that X person drives, or so-and-so's in the house. We need to learn about them. And you don't understand that part yet, because your licensing exam isn't going to teach you the what-if situations. And that's kind of what makes this industry fun, is there's always a different scenario, always a different person. You won't know until you get hands-on experience. And that's part of the reason you're going to start getting into that sales technique. Once you start to adjust and you've played with everything, now you can start focusing more on the sales part of it and understand, okay, well, if I say it this way and I phrase things this way, instead of saying it's $80 a month and you're the one saying, well, it's $900 a year, like there's a big difference. People perceive those sales techniques differently, and then understanding that rejection, the no's, all of the things. That's just the piece that you're going to learn, again, over time. That's more of a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year piece. Pulling it back, going back to that curve that I was talking about. So those that have that sales experience are going to ramp up twice as fast as a person that's more technical. They do all of the pieces that I'm talking about, where they get everything settled. They're more structured, don't get me wrong, but the initial ramp up, the salesperson's just going to grab the phone, start getting quotes, I'll call you back with prices, and then they figure it out on the back end. They're more mindset of let's just go, 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 versus let's adjust, let's set, let's grow, and then let's go, and then let's learn, and then let's go. Hanging by the flagpole is what makes the difference. Salesperson, technical person, either way, you're going to be successful as long as you learn it a little bit every day and move forward. What are we actually looking for when you're 45 days in, you're actually hitting day 60-ish plus? This first 90 days, what are we actually focusing on? For the person that's running their own agency, you're trying to get a client and trying to figure out what's the quickest, best way to get new clients. Usually, I'll tell you the cheapest, easiest ways to go networking. Now, it's not my thing. I'm not a big networker, so it's something that I honestly avoid. If I have the choice, I don't do it. Partially why I did a lot of social media. And so I do a lot of focus on that part of it, so I don't have to do those pieces that I don't want to focus on. I would rather buy 100 leads a day, call 100 of them, have my AI bot call them, like all of those things, set up appointments, and just quote people over the phone. I'd rather fight through the objections and work through that, because that introverted part of me, or whoever you are, if that's the case, that's the focus. Again, there's a cost to that, so you have to pay for those situations versus going to networking. A lot of it has to do with budget. When you're looking at that budget, there's really a number that you need to focus on. You're really trying to focus on the average of a 3-year lifespan of a customer. Yes, you want to have 10 years of a customer, but let's be a little bit realistic. You're fairly new. You don't quite have that relationship built. Now, if it's friends and family, you're likely going to keep them long term. But as you start bringing a new business, that people that don't know you, they may not trust you as much. Your price might adjust. You may not have called them in time, or they don't like the way you're working with them. And they might leave you a year from now, 4 years from now, 3 years from now. But on average, you can say, let's just assume 3 years of a life cycle of a customer. That means if a policy is worth, let's just say X amount for your state. In this case, we'll just say $300 a month for car insurance. So it's $3,600 a year. You're earning your commission, whatever your number is. In this scenario, we'll say 12%. You're about $350 per year is the profit that you're making, or the income that's coming back. You've got that times 3 years, which is our life cycle. So 3, 6, 900 plus 150, so 1,050 is what you're gonna earn on the life cycle of that customer. That's the lifetime value of that specific, your average client. That means that you can spend that much or less to purchase or get that client. So in this case, I can market 100 leads, I talk to 20 of them, I sell 3 of them, 3 of them now nets me $3,000. As long as it doesn't cost me more than $3,000, I win. Now, that won't work too long because you still got to pay your bills, you've got to pay yourself a salary. You have to make sure that your lifetime value is usually half or less than what you're paying for that customer. So I personally would shoot for below 500. I know all of you reputable agents are like, holy crap, 500 is a ton to get a customer. And I agree. I honestly don't pay anything right now. I do all the social media marketing. It's free, it's time. I invest the time in to get the client, and I invest the pay to pay someone to dial them, and all of those pieces. So it ends up being a lot lower of a cost if you do this correctly as you grow. Again, this is your first 90 days. You don't have to have all of this figured out yet. Subscribe if you want to follow up on some more. I'm actually going to give away a lot of the documents that we use, so you guys can use those as tools as well. The biggest strategy I can give you is keep it simple. Don't go buying every technology, including mine. Don't go buy my technology if you're brand new, unless you are ready to move forward. Don't go setting up a CRM and all of these things, and you're gonna be so busy with all of these automations and things and plannings. You need money first, you need to grow first. So focus on the parts that are income producing activities, and then once you've got some income rolling in, now let's focus more towards the technology, duplicating yourself, hiring an employee, all of those things that are gonna make you successful and be able to branch off. Those are like the after pieces. We need to start growing the business first before we start focusing on all of the shiny objects out. The other part is leverage your strengths. If you are good at networking, go network. If you are good at being on the phone and selling and pitching over the phone, then buy leads. You really need to focus on the pieces that are going to make you more successful and follow or feed your strengths and market to those, and then worry about the other pieces later. Yeah, I want to get good at networking eventually, but at the end of the day, I don't have to, because I've got 200, 300 plus leads a month coming in where I don't have to worry about that part of it. Still something, a to-do list down the road, that's an improvement to add on to a later part, but in the meantime, focus on the strengths. The third piece is to build a productive routine. That's the sheet I'm gonna link below. It's actually gonna be in our networking group. It's free to join. I'll put the PDF, all of our files in there so that you guys can download anything that I talk about on this channel. It'll be right in there. If you wanna talk to me directly, there's a chat widget in there that you can just message me. So I'll put that down there in the description below. Once you've got all that done, we've passed our 90 days. We're actually probably 6 months in. You're starting to work on everything. Then let's implement the technology. Let's make your life simpler. And if you can find ones that are able to do them for you, your first 90 days can be challenging. It's going to be filled with a lot of growth. It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of opportunity that you can do. There's a lot of friends, family you can help. There's a lot of ways to market. It's just exciting once you start to grow that. If you're coming on board more as an agent and you're just gonna either 1099 or work under an agency like ours, let's say you joined the Valor Insurance Group here and you're starting to work with us and we're paying you commission, you gotta make sure that one, you're getting some training. That's one of our focuses, to try to help train and bring you on board, show you how to put the salesman cap on and then put the underwriter cap on, maybe put the marketing hat on if you want to dive into marketing. Like all of the hats that you have to wear, it's a muscle that you have to flex. You have to get used to using those muscles for them to be strong. And if we can help you grow that way, that stepping stone might help you grow into a career path even beyond us or your own policies. Embrace that journey part of it. Stay focused is the biggest piece, is that sheet. If you're going to write down, I'm doing X today, Y today, Z today, tomorrow my must-haves are this. Here's some things I'd like to have done. If I didn't get them done today, just move that like to have over to tomorrow, and then keep moving them until you've gotten all the must-haves done. that focus is going to help you grow. Again, income producing activities is what you should write down. That's the focus of any new agent moving forward. If you're working under an agency, you don't have to worry about that. Usually the agent's going to be like, here's the phone calls, here's some leads, here's the script. I need you to just dial these numbers and make these conversations happen. Try to sell a policy. If you do, once you get them on the hook, let's talk. Let's walk it through. Let's help you understand what buttons you're pushing, when to hit submit, should you purchase this policy. All of those things are things that you're going to get taught with an agency, either going to a farmer's or coming to us or working under somebody versus going off on your own like a 1099 to where you're building your own business or you're going completely on your own, joining the network, whatever the case is. You're really not given that part. Seek support if you don't have it. Doesn't have to be us. It can be any sorts of them. There's ones you can pay memberships for. There's websites, I'll try to find them and link them for you, that can actually help train you on some of the defaults of the states and kind of basics of everything. There's nothing that's going to teach you your exact scenario. So it's something that you're just going to have to learn over time. And continuously focus on learning. You've heard it 1,000 times. If you're doing any type of self-development, get 1% better every day. Focus on the next steps. If you're trying to take the next step, there's a video here that will be helpful as well. The link is in the description below if you're looking to join the waitlist if we do decide to branch off and offer 1099 options. If you're trying to work with the network we're part of, same links down there as well. All the documents that we talked about will be in the community group. You'll have to join that and log in, and then you'll have access to everything. I'm Mark W. Flockhart. I'll see you soon.